Darren O'Rourke asks,
what is your happiest / funniest memory of doing something together, either musically or otherwise? I saw this, and that's why I asked you earlier. That's why I asked you earlier. Do we have to think about these before we?
Do we have to think about these? Oh God!
Because it's really, I find it really difficult to answer those kind of questions because my memory is not very good.
Yeah.
And I feel I may offend someone.
Yeah. That's actually exactly what I was thinking when I went off from my appointment at 3.
Really?
I was mulling the questions over and I saw that one from Daz and thinking like,
oh, it's
shit.
a really good question.
It's a really good question, but politically there's no way of answering that well without someone going,
but what about this time?
We thought you were having a really good time with us, or something like that, or between us, just going like,
I know.
What about that time that Because I was just thinking. I mean,
Well, I'm glad you feel the same way. Then we won't be annoyed at each other.
Well, precisely, but the stuff that I was sort of thinking like, I mean, obviously, we're not going to share the. There's some of our happiest, funniest memories of doing something together, but it's not exactly vanilla flavoured Disney. Obviously proposing to you in Thomas a Becket Church in Fairfield in Kent was lovely.
That's definitely one of the most romantic things.
That's very good. But I'd say happiest and funniest. When I think of something along those lines, I think not necessarily the funniest thing, but I'd say one of the things that made me laugh very, 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 very hard. And it was actually something I just asked you to do, but you did it with aplomb. And it's linked actually to Daz, because Daz very, very, very kindly gave us for an engagement present. He got us a memory foam mattress, which is just there. Which is just spot on. Takes some getting used to at first because you sink into it and you can't get out of bed. Yeah. But it's for those who don't have memory foam mattresses. It's for you, but they're immensely soft, and then you sink into them. That's the whole point of them. We were having one of our sort of famous weekends back at the old the House of Metal, where we were living with Andy Ongley from Collapse and Christina Guinea from who used to be in Inslot from Everything, who used to be in Inslot with me, and we were having one of these large weekends with loads of friends over, and we had a stilts bed. There's these ones that sort of you saw some stuff beneath it, but they're very, very tall. And
like a bunk bed for adults.
It's exactly that, but a double bed. And basically I got, Beth was up on the bed and I just like, stop, right, do me a favour, as you are just there kneeling, she's like kneeling on the end of the bed, just there, please, my lovely wife, full force, headbutt the bed. And I don't just mean like, dunk, so she was sat, if you can imagine, like sat on her heels, and with the entirety of her upper body went, and it was just glorious. And
what if I'd broken the bed and fell all the way through? That would be awful. A little bed-shaped hole.
Oh, it would have been so good.
Funny, but destructive. Oh dear. That's a good memory. It makes us seem a little bit simple. But
a little bit simple.
Just headbutting.
But no, I mean things in Norway. Obviously, the Norway trip with Thomas and Beth Ryan trip, that was excellent. That was well good.
Being log cabin. We went to Norway and were really looked after by To Cast a Shadow. Yeah. And Marcus's father from To Cast a Shadow built a log cabin in the mountains where trees don't even grow that high.
Because it's such high altitude.
Because it's such high altitude, and your ears pop on the way there whilst you're listening to black metal in the car. And we stayed in that log cabin without electricity. Well, it wasn't.
It was without electricity. Yeah.
It was without electricity. Oh god, that was so good.
Incredible, absolutely incredible.
So good.
But I'd say happiest. I mean, fondest memories and stuff like that. I mean, like for instance, you arriving at Johnny Day's party back years and years ago, when we were first sort of involved, and you turned up just looking. I was in the garden at the end of at his parents' place, and I was at the end of the garden, and you sort of arrived in silhouette and just looked particularly resplendent. And it was lovely. I like that as a fond memory of that. But no, I mean, there's the silly thing that there's absolutely tons of completely mental stuff. Like I've turned up to parties late because I'll be at rehearsal or something like that. Well, I'll turn up to a house party in Kent, and like you just suddenly turn up in the hallway with holding. I don't know what there's one that I turned up and you were just wearing the weirdest shit. It was brilliant.
Was I wearing everyone else's stuff?
I think you'd sort of like, oh, can you just wear everything, please? And you were just holding, I don't know what it's like a clothes hanger or something like that. But it's just the fact that you just kind of, it was at the boys at the Batcave, And
we've got a lot of friends in Kent because we both come from Kent.
Yeah, and so I just kind of turned up there at the house and I kind of, everyone just saying hello. He just like walked across the back of the hall, like, darling, just between two rooms. Like, what are you wearing? Ah, yes, that's why I'm married to this woman. Oh, it was magic. Peter Wolf, as in Pete from Voices, asks, does a snail have consciousness? Well, frankly, it's a ridiculous question. Depends if it's asleep or not.
Oh, a little sleeping snail in its little house. Right.
Imagine if a snail sneezed. It would just be even more. Oh, that'd be awful.
This question reminded me of people. I swear, in my life, someone has said this to me, that they eat fish. They were vegetarian, so pescatarian, because they eat fish, because fish don't have feelings. And that really annoyed me, because fish must have feelings. I know we can't ask them, but they must have feelings.
They absolutely do.
That's ridiculous. Of course they feel pain. So they definitely feel when they are killed, so you can eat them. Not that there's anything wrong with that. I eat meat and everything like that, but that annoyed me. So the fact that someone says that a snail got consciousness, okay, it probably doesn't realise that we are here and what we mean and everything like that, but it knows its own mind.
God, snails are so self-involved.
Yeah, they just want to eat their own stuff and leave us to lift them up and go, I don't know what's happening, but I just want to eat my leaf and I'll be put back down again.
I think it's got its consciousness inside its shell.
Yeah, it goes back into thinking, goes, I do ponder, and then goes back out again.
It's like having a bit of a crawl around going, goes, hang on a minute. Offside rule. It's back up again.
Baits take a long time.
Morris McLeod asks,
Morris.
how can I get juniper berry juice out of my yellow morphsuit?
I looked this up. Not the exact question.
What?
But I looked it up.
Morris in a morphsuit. We've seen Morris in some interesting things. And that might be intriguing.
Would you put it past? Do you think he's made up the yellow
Would
morphsuit?
not put it past him at all.
I looked up removing berry stains from various different fabrics because I had genuine concern, and then it was far too difficult. So I reckon you'd probably be all right if your morphsuit is colour fast. Actually, no, I think you'll be all right just to use white vinegar. White vinegar on everything.
Dude, white vinegar is your answer for everything. Yeah. You have a go at me about the fact that I was just using Germaline for everything.
Oh, my leg's fallen off.
Germaline! What's Germaline on? Oh, I've become pregnant! Germaline! I've got AIDS! Germaline! I'm dead! Germaline! Seriously, your thing is like, but it
Our
is
kids
weird.
are going to be fine.
I reckon, yeah, you can do white vinegar and Germaline. Oh.
I didn't believe that white vinegar could get out stains, but then I did it, and it was amazing.
I think you're going to the same place every time on the internet, and you're asking these. You're going on to whitevinegarsluts.org, okay? And you're going on there going,
it must exist.
How do I get my eyebrows to look like a map of France? I don't know why Stevie Wonder was asking for you, but how do I look like Jesse Pintado?
Why are you making him breathe so weird?
Eating celery! That's because he breathes. Come on, man, blind people can breathe.
I know, but they don't breathe they just breathe like normal people. How?
No, they don't.
Such a racist.
How do you breathe in the dark when you're drunk? Everyone knows that when you're dark, you end up when you put your keys under the door going. I'll go anyway, give me a minute. Is this in my house? Hello! Blind people breathe differently. Wait, that's no disrespect to blind people. I know that you do breathe normally, but let's face it, Stevie Wonder might have a respiratory condition.
Now I have concern for him.
So in answer to Morris, how can I get juniper berry juice out of my yellow morphsuit? Well, Beth was going with white vinegar. I was going to really like refine this down a bit and say, Morris, I think this is more of a political issue. I think this goes into really like ownership in general, or really a case of property. In that, why is it necessarily your morphsuit? And more along the lines of, you know, if the juniper berry juice is there, well, it's got every right to be there. I mean, why suddenly now have you got the power to evict it?
Just have tolerance.
Yeah, it just strikes me as odd, man. I think that's a bit strange, really. I think that's quite a bit blinkered.
Yeah.
We've been with you to Torture Garden, and we know you're not a blinkered man. Come along, Morris! Crazy old Maurice!
Crazy old Maurice, hmm?
That's not a comment, by the way, on like you. That's just something that we happen to know.
We just love Gaston and Disney in general.
Who wouldn't want to be Gaston? I mean, oh, Gaston, you know, I'd love to be that man!
When I was a lad, I ate crazy old Maurice. And now that I'm grown, I eat all of my decorating.
Next.
I don't get this. I don't get my own brother.
Shall I do it then?
Yeah.
Tom Ryan asks, who's the Bacon King? Who's the Bacon King? You're the Bacon King? Who's the Bacon King? Oh, you're the Bacon King. Oh, you're the Bacon King. Who's the Bacon King? You're the Bacon King. Yeah, I think that's, yes? Yeah.
So it's rhetorical.
Who's the Bacon King? Who's the Bacon King?
Wouldn't it be funny if you put me back and I had a different face? Or no face at all.
Just keep spinning you round. Ross William Adams asks, What are this?
What are this? What are this? What are this?
She's been asking for years. Greg Freeston. In California, you can't take a photo of a man with a wooden leg. Why not?
Spontaneous combustion. Next question.
Ross William Adams again asks, could you be trusted with my guinea pigs?
I looked after the guinea pigs quite often from our primary school because my mum doesn't like to keep animals in hutches, which I do agree with slightly, but I really want a guinea pig.
Your mum does have lovely hutches, though.
You should see my mum's hutches.
Secure, spacious, comfortable.
Only $2.75 a week.
That's pretty good for a hutch, let's face it. Outside London, but with
Get your own run! You get your own run.
You get your own run. Who's the Bacon King? Who's the Bacon King?
Juanita Diaz
says, would you ever write a concept album? You know my answer to this. And
would you ever write a concept album? No, do you want to answer
that one first? You know my answer to this, Johnny. You're just being precocious. What a surprise! No. Oh, okay. I'll answer this one then. You know my answer to this. I'm not going to ever write a concept album. No, because in as much as it seems completely ludicrous for someone like me to say, I think it's overblown and pompous. I know though that those, if you were to cut me in half, you know, in the exact, you know, completely proper half cut, one half of the inside of me would say overblown and the other pompous. No, I mean, I'm not going to make a concept album. No. I don't like them. I don't like listening to them. I don't like the theory of them. I think that it's uncomfortable because it's sort of like you're going to honestly write potentially 72 minutes or even more worth of music about a singular subject. I think that's rather tiring for people. And did those feet in ancient times really walk upon England's mountains green, or were they wearing sandals? Go the person that doesn't know any of the old hymns. I do, you don't. That's a bit weird, isn't it?
I know.
You know all the new hymns and I know all the old ones.
There's water of life. Jesus gives us the water of life. And Hal knows Latin, so he knows all the old hymns.
That's not the sole reason of it. I just
Jerusalem, I think, is one of my mum's favourite songs, so I'm unsure as to how I didn't recognise it when I was an old woman as I am now, and I was like, what's that hymn? It's gorgeous.
Now, you see, I was brought up on the understanding, I had a brilliant music teacher called Robert Pipes, who has since taken his vows in the order. He took an order of silence actually for a while. He's actually now a monk, still teaching at the Hall School. He's a brilliant teacher. But he told me this wonderful thing. He was adamant that the lyrics for Jerusalem, famous lyrics obviously, as a poem, a standalone poem himself, is in completely, totally sexual innuendo. Read them over. And they're wonderful. Other than obviously the bits did those feet in ancient times, but the whole sort of well, go read them. No, they didn't walk on England's mountains green because we
they rolled down the hills like children.
We don't have green mountains. We have mountains that are rocky, so it's actually an inaccuracy. We have very large hills that are green.
There didn't used to be geography lessons in the hymn writing age.
The hymn writing age, these 2 years. Quick, lads! Ross William Adams returns with a bevy of questions. If you had a garden, would you use it?
We had a garden. We had that little.
We've got a patio.
I have stood in that little alcove. Yeah. You can stand in it and go, hey, and that's about it. We had a little garden that we shared with the whole of our building in the last very, very tiny flat that we lived in with Holly.
Oh God, we did.
And we used it twice, I think, for the whole year.
Yeah.
Just because it was not very attractive, and because we shared it with other people, I felt a little bit strange about using it, especially seeing as we weren't on the ground. We were on the ground floor, but the lower ground floor went onto the garden. Yes, however, I was thinking about this the other day. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rooms in this flat, and I think that's quite a lot to look after. So imagine having a garden and having to look after that as well.
Well, also I don't quite know what I'd use it for. I mean, the thing is, I'm sort of quite busy most of the time. I wouldn't be able to do my work out.
I spent so much of my childhood in my garden.
He further asks, we all live in a yellow submarine. Where do you stand on this?
You don't stand in a yellow submarine. It's very small.
Exactly that. Sarah Adams says, will you finish my assignment for me?
I've forgotten what she's studying at the moment.
Killing people. The assignment is actually, she's been asked to murder someone, well, assassinate, or rather, as they say in the business, get rid of, or take care of. And that's not, as one might imagine in such a situation, in fact, taking care of someone in the sort of primary caring sense and sort of care for the elderly aspect. So it's not actually down to that. What it in fact means is brutally murdering someone.
So do you have to write an essay for that? Because I assume assignment.
Yes. Yeah. You know, most university students.
This is going to be a sweeping generalisation.
Most university students.
I'm ready, embraced.
Are assassins. Right. And the only reason that there is, one of the main causes for them becoming assassins, because pot noodles contain hormones that make you physically aggressive.
Chemtrails.
Fact.
So you have to spend £9,000 a year to be an assassin?
Yeah. I think it's perfectly reasonable. You're killing people.
Sarah, that's a tough job.
Tough job.
No, I won't then.
No. Darren O'Rourke comes back to say, what is the correct gentleman's way to do the death metal claw stance with a wifely assistance? We could do this, but I'm not going to film it, Pierre.
Oh, yeah, but that's not the death metal claw.
You clearly haven't been paying attention. Ha ha!
Oh, Ross William Adams. Can you both swim? Yes.
Oh yeah.
I spent many years in my life going to swimming lessons, and I'm rubbish at swimming, so it didn't really work.
I don't mind saying that I'm not too bad at it, but I know that I'm better underwater than I am over. And
we'd rather be in the flumes!
Yes, that's very true. It's entirely true. Yes, actually.
We both hate roller coasters a lot, but we love log flumes. And Hal once injured himself very badly on a log flume.
I actually fractured my kneecap on not a log flume, a white water rapid thing they're called at Centre Parks. I was a bit sort of like, well, I may possibly join you in the swimming pool at some point. I mean, this was only like 3 years ago or something like that. I may possibly join you. I'm pondering it maybe. How have you, have you been on the Whitewater Rapids? Oh no, I may do that at some point. I may join you. Possibly went on it once and went absolutely fucking apeshit and became an 8-year-old child again. And got into that whole thing of trying to go as fast as humanly possible. And I discovered a way, you kind of do that and you kind of, you're flying down, going side, and I found this way that if you hit a certain corner, if you ball up, you spin really, really quickly. And I did that, and I got faster and faster and faster and faster and faster until finally I got so fast, I went up into a ball in this one corner, spun almost out of the flume rapid thing, and smacked my kneecap directly into a sort of ornamental rock, and fractured it on the way down. When I got,
rock.
it was.
If I find you,
yeah, not good
gonna
news.
chip
It was
you.
intensely painful. However, my grandfather has like negative buoyancy and means that he can in fact swim, but swims basically 2 inches beneath the waterline. And if you watch, it's either The Cruel Sea or Above Us the Waves. You can see there's a section where there's a load of people, swimming across the camera line sort of thing of the picture, and one actor goes past, lead actor, the other next one goes past. My grandfather goes past raised, because there was a stuntman strapped to his front, swimming underneath him. Because seriously, the first time they tried to shoot it, they went, one actor, next actor, long period of silence, next actor. It's like, where's Donald? He was underwater, just going, do really good job, but completely invisible. Whereas on the other side of my family, it was a really, really odd thing that my late uncle Simon, was a wicked guy. He was really, really cool. He was, however, he was really, 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 like a big guy. I mean, he was quite sort of fat. And, sometimes in later life, a little bit of problems with mobility and stuff like that. I loved him. He was wicked. People used to sort of be all like, oh, how does he get around and everything like that? And he had a mobility scooter and all this. Turns out, absolutely demonically good swimmer.
Demonic.
Like really
bum-shatteringly good.
Bum-shatteringly amazing. And I watched him swim once, and it was frightening the speed that he could reach. It was quite weird. Anyway, weird side fact for you. D. Humphreys asks, what the fuck is a samoflange? Which,
It's the Thundercats outtakey things of the voice actors just...
And keep your foot off that blasted samoflange.
What the fuck is a samoflange?
I have to do that again.
Oh, well, I like to think, Dee, that actually what is a samoflange is a little device. And I think it's a kind of like, it's a device that, in Quantum Leap, is it... I forget all the characters' names now, but the older dude who's brilliant in all the other films, and he's got Iggy keeps saying it, and it's just a thing that goes, and he never quite keeps hitting it. I think that's a samoflange. I think it's a jump between the series. I think in Quantum Leap, Iggy or Izzy or whatever that thing was a samoflange, and they never actually named it, and it just appeared in Thundercats, and they got hideously confused.
I think it's blancmange that's plugged into the mains.
Oh, it's a Sam Loins pudding. A samoflange.
Sam Loins, who's also in Voices, by the CD. Sam Loins.
Because you're on it.
Yeah. I've forgotten what a flange is.
Oh, let me remind you. Come here.
when you turn up the flange.
Oh, the flange. Oh, a flanger.
You got it here?
Oh, I've got a flanger. It's like a...
Oh, don't go on about it!
Do stop harping on about it!
Get it out in public!
Rob Kinsey asks, what is the angular velocity of the moon? 5.22.
Yeah.
Anything else you want to ask, you come straight to us. Yeah. No probs. I'm always there for you, Rob. I'm always there for you.
Maybe
always
that's
there for you.
what the...
You want to know a thing or two about the music industry? You come to me. Eh? I'm there for you, Rob. I'm there. Right here. Which is there for you.
We'll stay here until you need us.
Oh yeah, we'll be here. Anything you need. No, I don't think we've got anything left.
That's the end.
That's actually it.
The end.
The end. Oh well.
You run out of words.